It's Wednesday, June 4th, 2025. It's the 155th day of the year, and we've got a ton of weather to talk about, so let's dive right into it. Let's start off by taking a look at the jet stream, and the big story over the next couple of days, and honestly for the foreseeable future, is going to be this subtropical jet flow that's going to be moving over New Mexico and Arizona, over into Texas and into the southern plains. Over the next couple of days, we're going to have enhanced jet stream flow here that's going to bring moisture from the Pacific, and that's going to combine with moisture from the Gulf, and there's actually going to be a pretty good gradient that sets up here between warm air and cool air, and that's going to lead to several rounds of severe weather. And we're talking about that in the short term. We have our own severe weather threat today, as there's a couple little disturbances here that are going to start maybe some supercells in New Mexico, and those will move into Texas. And then we're going to have a pretty robust mesoscale convective system threat tomorrow in Oklahoma and Texas as well. And then after that, every day that we go into the future, things honestly just become more intense. We're going to have mesoscale convective system chance after mesoscale convective system chance here. And when I say mesoscale convective system, all I'm talking about is a line of storms. We're going to have these supercells that pop up. They're very quickly going to congeal into these very strong lines, these damaging wind systems that move across Oklahoma into Arkansas, and then eventually into the Tennessee Valley as well. And that's just going to happen over and over again. And eventually this subtropical jet is going to kind of merge with, or at least be influenced by, this very large lobe of the northern jet stream here, which is actually going to be carrying some very cold air relative to June, and that's going to just continue our chances for severe weather in the south as we go forward. So things are looking hyperactive as far as severe weather goes over the next week or so, and it's not looking to me like it's going to be much of a tornado threat, definitely more so on the straight line damaging winds. And I would not be surprised if we end up seeing a couple of derechos as a result of this pattern. So once again, that jet stream flow is just going to solidify this boundary that we have between cooler than average temperatures up here in the plains over towards the Ohio Valley and much warmer than average temperatures in the south. And right in between there, that's where all these storms are going to spark off, and we're going to see these recurring MCSs, mesoscale convective systems. And then as that big lobe of cooler air really solidifies and sets in here over the Great Lakes, that's just going to continue to happen. Now, looking at the immediate short-term forecast over the next 48 hours, we're going to have some lingering showers over here in the Midwest, St. Louis, Chicago, over towards Detroit. A couple claps of thunder is going to be possible today. The strongest storms this afternoon are likely going to be down here in Florida, where we're probably going to have some more problems with flooding. Some of that tropical moisture is also going to make it up into the Carolinas, where we will have a couple of flash flood warnings issued today, almost certainly. And then our severe weather is going to get going over here this afternoon in New Mexico, over here towards Colorado. Watch out for a couple supercells that are capable of producing damaging winds and hail. Those will move into Texas and, probably cause a couple problems overnight. But our next real severe weather threat, I think, doesn't start until the overnight hours or late evening hours on the 5th, where we have some supercells that will pop up over here in Colorado and Kansas and very quickly congeal into one of those MCSs. This is a mesoscale convective system that will have the potential to cause damaging winds, maybe in the Oklahoma City metro early in the morning on the 6th. And it doesn't stop there, okay? We're going to have MCS after MCS. Here's number 2, okay? That's going to cause problems maybe down towards the Red River Valley as we go into the, once again, the early morning hours on the 6th. And then there's going to be another one, maybe a Tennessee Valley Ripper over here on the 7th that we've got to watch as it goes through Memphis, Nashville, Birmingham, Atlanta. It looks like, that could be a problem over here. And the thing about these systems is they're going to be really hard to predict. All we know is that, like boomerangs, they're going to be flying around here day after day. We don't know the exact placement or timing on any of these yet, but just notice how we keep seeing these Boeing line segments popping up here every day during the heating of the day. We're going to have supercells forming that will initially have a tornado threat, and then very quickly that tornado threat will go away, and we'll be just having big time wind bags race through Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, and all these places. And it continues way out into the 7th. I mean, as this lobe of colder air comes down, it is going to suppress the activity farther south to where eventually it's just going to be over the Gulf. But I mean, the 7th and the 8th, we are going to continue to have problems with this severe weather as a result of these recurring damaging wind making events. So man, look at this. Even back there on the 9th, we've got one over here in Texas. So this is going to be, honestly, I don't remember the last time we've been in a pattern like this. It's pretty interesting, meteorologically speaking. We don't see stuff like this in June very often, but when we do, it's almost always going to lead to, once again, a derecho or two. Not every single one of these MCS systems is going to be this widespread damaging thing. Some of them will be weaker than others. Some of them will only impact a few people, but I think we're going to have a couple memorable storm systems out of this overall setup. And we're going to talk a bunch more about that right here in a second. But first, let's shout out today's very awesome sponsor. For those of you who have been watching the channel for a while, have you noticed a difference over the past 6 months in our live streams? I haven't been sick. If you're new here, that might not sound like a big deal, but for me, it's huge. And a big part of that change, at least for me, has been these things right here. What we're looking at here are the Bluegrass Precision Wellness Sprays. Now look, it's just vitamins, but these sprays are different. Instead of a pill, you spray it in your mouth, and for me at least, it's been a game changer, and I think it's because they taste good. So here's my routine. After a long stream, I'm usually wired and I can't sleep, but a couple of sprays of this drift away stuff and I'm out within an hour and I'm sleeping well and I'm waking up rested. And then this orange one here, this one's called Immune Response, which has vitamin D, C, and zinc. And with a toddler and a preschooler at home, they're bringing home every germ on earth, but I think a big thing that's been keeping me feeling well is this. And then in the mornings, I hit a couple of sprays of Boost for that vitamin B12, and honestly, I think it's what's been giving me a little bit more pep in my step here recently. This is not a company that usually does like YouTube sponsorships and stuff like that. I was just like, hey, I want to talk about it with my audience, and they've hooked me up. They're sponsoring this video and they're hooking you guys up too. If you click the link at the top of the description here and go to their website and buy a couple of these sprays, you're going to get 15% off your first purchase. You're going to love it. This stuff's awesome. And let me know what you think about them in the comments down below. Let's get back into the video. Now, looking at the SPC outlook for today, there's a marginal risk for those lingering showers that we were looking at over here from Detroit down towards Houston. And then we've got that slight risk of severe weather around Clovis, Amarillo, and Canyon for those supercells that will be popping up this afternoon. Tomorrow, we've got a much bigger slight risk. Now, in my opinion, the northern half of this slight risk is likely for that MCS, that line of storms that's going to be racing down towards Oklahoma City. And then the rest of this is probably designated for the possibility of some isolated supercells that will pop up down here between Odessa and Amarillo and Lubbock. So get ready for that tomorrow. And then on the day 3 outlook, look at this. A huge area is under a slight risk of severe weather, as there's not going to be 1, but maybe 2, maybe even 3 lines of storms, little mesoscale convective systems that are going to pop up here and cause big time problems, maybe over here around Amarillo, Pampa, Oklahoma City, Fort Smith, Little Rock, Memphis, Nashville, and yes, Birmingham and Atlanta, Knoxville, Lexington, Kentucky. We are going to be talking about you guys as well as we go forward. And it doesn't stop there. The day 4 outlook does also have a big slight risk for a very similar area, maybe just a little bit farther to the south, as we expect another big time line of storms to come through and cause problems. Now, there's nothing on the day 5 just yet. Tomorrow, the day 4 is probably going to show another slight risk over here. And then the day 6 is like this. And then the day 7, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're just going to have continued chances for these pretty crazy storm systems to hit. So make sure you are prepared. A lot of people don't think about this kind of severe weather in June, okay? June is and July, a lot of times, are very quiet. We obviously have severe weather. Sometimes we have big time storms that pop up in the afternoon and we get hail and wind, but this is like actually potentially widespread damaging winds. So make sure you're prepared for this. Power outages are definitely going to be a problem as we go forward. Another thing that's going to happen over the next 7 days is a lot of rain is going to fall. Okay, we could have maybe over 4 inches of rain near Oklahoma City. There will be a couple places down here in Alabama that end up with quite a bit of rain because, you know, all these storms are going to start off over here and then they're going to race off to the south and east, and eventually over time some places in this corridor will see some excessive rainfall. So get ready for some isolated flash flooding problems out here. And then also we're going to have a lot of rain along the coast in Savannah, Brunswick, Charleston, all the way up there towards Kitty Hawk, the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Some of these places will see more than 5 inches of rain over the next couple of days, and that's actually happening as a result of a tropical system. Okay, so just yesterday we had a 10% chance of this forming into a tropical storm or something per the NHC. So we've got an early start to talking about the tropics here. They have since reduced that to 0%, but still, it's pretty crazy that we're already talking about the tropics. And whether this turns into a tropical depression or not, it is going to dump a ton of rain on the coast, and it's going to bring about several days of dreary, rainy weather. So get ready for that in Myrtle Beach and anywhere along the North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, or Florida coastline. Speaking of the tropics, though, we are continuing to watch this area south and west of Mexico, where we have a 80% chance of a storm forming down here over the next 7 days. And then, you know, there's even a couple of models that are showing some activity trying to pop up on the other side of Mexico. And that might actually be an interesting situation for us as we go a couple of weeks from now. So this is just one run of the GFS. Don't take it to heart or anything, but it is showing that storm that we're thinking is going to form over the next 7 days. It looks like it actually might get pretty strong out here as conditions are favorable for hurricanes, and that's going to unwind as it gets closer to the bottom Baja Peninsula. But watch over there in the Caribbean. The GFS sees a hurricane coming together, maybe hitting Cuba on the 17th and then turning into a monster hurricane, of course, heading up into the Gulf by the time we get to June 20th. I want to say this very clearly. This is not real, okay? You're going to see this image right here is plumb wild. If we actually had this happen, it would be a devastating hurricane for the coast. You're going to see this image all over Facebook. You're going to see it on TikTok. You're going to see people trying to get you scared about this. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. It's not real. The GFS has been hinting towards some activity in the Gulf and the Caribbean. We've had consistent signals for something happening, but nobody knows what it's going to be, and it's definitely not going to be this, okay? We'll keep you posted here as we learn more. There is some activity out here in the Gulf. We're going to track it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great, and we're going to tell you as soon as there's something to worry about. But right now, there is nothing, absolutely nothing to worry about. The main focus is going to continue to be those ongoing storms that we're going to be seeing over the next 7 days. I think we're going to have a good chance of live streams almost every day, starting tomorrow through the beginning of next week. So make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on, and we will definitely be seeing each other a lot as we go forward. And then hopefully we get a little bit of a break before we really get into hurricane season. But if we end up with some sort of tropical system next week, we'll be here every day talking about it. And yeah, it should be good. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.